Well, hello.
Welcome.
We are live.
I'm sharing the free agency. I'm just tweeting it out now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Okay.
do the gauntlet here. We're gonna do the
All
tweet.
right.
We are gonna do the
Shabbat
Facebook
shalom,
share.
everybody. Howdy, howdy.
I hope
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
those of you that enjoy watching us during the season enjoy watching us today. As Tim and I go through and I need to really turn on live stream notifications for Guy Boston. I don't know why I don't have them.
Yeah, I think I used to have it on there. Hey, what's going on, guys?
Dude,
Most
why
wonderful time of the
why can
year.
whatever. We'll figure this out another time. Yes. All right,
Oh
here we
man.
go.
So it seems like a lot of weird stuff going on so far. We've already got news about Brunson, which is totally not surprising. With Brunson's a foregone conclusion is going to the Knicks. I think they're saying
God
like 4
bless him.
years, 110 mil. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of
Bless him.
clams.
Here we go. We're doing Facebook.
One source with knowledge is from Mark Stein. One source with knowledge of the team's thinking strongly dismissed the idea that Dallas would pursue a trade for Brooklyn's Kyrie Irving in the wake of Kevin Durant's trade demand. So that's one team that's out of the running for Kyrie, wherever he may end up. The fact is it seems like Woj said that they might like want to get traded together, but I don't think anyone's going to be able to take on that kind of money. That's just so unrealistic. Like I just don't think that's going to happen. What a mess, man. Like I just want to just take a moment. Like they thought the Nets fans thought that they were good. Like Kyrie opted in, they're like, great, he's not going to walk for nothing. And then like 48 hours later, you've got Kevin Durant demanding a trade, and not even just demanding it to the GM. He's demanding it of the owner. He went to their owner and said, "I want out."
Well, that's funny, isn't it? I mean, this whole thing was these two guys meeting of the minds. They say, "Okay, we want to come play together. We want to team up, be best friends. We liked playing on Team USA." And now, I mean, I can't imagine they like each other. I One report, who was it, Shams or Woj, said since Kyrie opted in, neither one of them had talked to the team or talked to each other. And then today, KD did what he did. Like, these guys can't like each other. Kyrie being a prick all season last year and not playing and putting that team through what he put it through cannot have sat well with Durant. And I think we're all seeing that now as
I
he demands a trade, which when Jack comes back we can really get into, because Jack and I have very differing viewpoints on guys demanding trades, especially in a situation like this.
Yeah,
But
and I think I'm more the middle ground with that contract stuff. But again, we can hash into that because that's in itself as a whole other conversation, which I'm sure this is gonna mess up the CBA negotiations whenever those arise. Like, there's probably gonna be lockout. I don't know what's gonna do to these contracts, but
why don't you explain it a little bit, because I don't know anything about any of that, and I think these guys need to be put in their place. And I tweeted it, you replied somewhat disagreeing. So I want you to explain it to me, because I don't truly understand why it should affect these middle ground guys. Because how oft your counter to me was, if the superstars take a beating on having like all this power and demanding trades and contracts essentially meaning nothing, it's going to hurt the smaller guys. To which, I mean, those guys aren't the ones causing problems.
well, yeah, but I mean, like, my thought process is it's going to impact like guaranteed money. Like, I think it might impact like there might be a threshold maybe that players have to reach in order to get a certain amount of their money guaranteed. Like you already have on some contracts like guaranteed dates. But I think it's going to get really complicated in terms of you've got guys who are holding out on teams who don't want to play, who or they dig their heels in, they stand their ground and they say, "You know what? I'm done. I'm not going to play another game for Philadelphia. Screw this team, screw you guys. I demand a trade." And you've got a guy who's literally sitting out the entire season, and what that does is for twofold. Like one, like, yeah, that guy doesn't deserve to get that money because he's sitting out. I totally agree. You have to honor that contract. And if you don't get that money. But at the same fold, like that team has a bunch of salary cap space locked up with a guy who's not gonna suit up for them. So you have this whole situation where like the team's suffering, the player's suffering, and at the end of the day, it's just gonna look bad for the league because eventually that guy's going to get forced out. And that's what happened in multiple situations. We're seeing that kind of unfold with this Kevin Durant situation a little bit, although that's a little bit more complicated, more so like with the Kyrie stuff. Kyrie's situation also makes it complicated too. James Harden, you have the situation with Ben Simmons as well. The league is running into these issues with certain contracts, mainly with max guys. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is I think that these guarantees and how these contracts and also the revenue shares, because some of the money goes to the league, some of that money goes to the players. Like all of this is going to get really messy because you've got guys who are not honoring their contracts. And I get it. Like if a player doesn't want to be somewhere and a situation has become toxic, then it's best for both parties to just split it up. But because of the contracts, because of the money that's included in this, when guys hold out, it everyone suffers. And like players are going to suffer in the next contract negotiations. Like it's just going to destroy, it's going to be bad. Is
I
what
feel
I'm
like
saying.
I feel like they should suffer. I mean, these guys are getting they need to be put in their place to an extent. Well said, that's messed up. They're people. Yeah, they're people, but they're acting like babies. I mean, look at Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, I believe, got a max extension when he was on his rookie deal. And he sat out and said, "Hey, I'm not going to play anymore." And got his way by going to a contending team at the time. So he acted like a child, did not play a single game for Philadelphia because essentially they were mean to him. That's still what it boils down to, no matter what you want to attribute it to. That's the stem of what happened. And then he gets to go sit and watch the Nets. He could have played, but he did not. He gets to go sit on the bench in the finest of all the drip during the playoffs and watch Brooklyn play. And eventually, I'd imagine he will play for that team. Why are these guys getting rewarded for being babies? And Jack will come in. He's in the lobby now. He'll be in when he's finished up with something, and he'll definitely debate me on this if you're listening. But if I'm Brooklyn, now this is not necessarily the situation at hand. I think they've kind of accepted that their core is a dumpster fire, with Kyrie being a nut and being on your team this year, and Durant has had enough of him. If I'm the Nets and I really wanted to keep Kevin Durant, I'm telling him, "Hey, you're not going anywhere. You signed an extension. You're here for 4 more years." How is it that in this league somebody can have 4 years left on their contract and strong arm like a billionaire? A billionaire. The guy owns Alibaba, like the Chinese version of Amazon, and he's getting strong armed by a guy with 4 years left on his contract. Now, Durant is an excellent player. He's my probably favorite player that's never played on the Celtics. But in the grand scheme of things in the NBA, it is remarkable to me how these things happen. How Kevin Durant with 4 years left on his deal can say, "Trade me." If I was dead set on him being on my team, I'd say no. No. I'm not trading you. You signed to play here, and if you don't want to play, don't play. Sit there. The only problem with that is right now, the Nets don't have their own picks.
Yeah. And that's really where the Nets are like in this tough spot because you can't exactly go ahead and just tank away and try and get what is it, Victor Wembanyama or whatever his name is, like
You'll
the
know.
newest. Yeah, but that
Eventually, you will know how to say his name,
yeah,
just like Giannis.
yes. Well, I don't have his name up. I'm just trying to think off the top of my dome. He's the
It's
only guy
something
that
like that.
everyone's hyping it up. But point being is they can't tank for anyone. There's no one that they could be like, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and just tank the lottery. Right now, all of these picks, because of that James Harden deal, which not only destroyed all of their depth, but they literally gave up all of these assets to get Harden. That situation got toxic because of Kyrie. And now it's like they've got nothing to show for it. Kyrie's on the way out, and they really don't have the option of just going ahead and tanking and trying to get a top pick. I can't even remember the next time they're going to have control of their own picks. If
Who
it's
knows?
not a pick that's going to Houston, Houston has the right to swap. So really right now, like they're quite literally in hell. Like you have to get the most that you can for Kevin Durant. And it's actually this is the plus side of him having that extension is his trade value is going to be through the roof, not only because he's freaking Kevin Durant, but You've got him under contract
Mhm.
control until he's what, 37? And granted, he's going to be getting paid like $50 million by the time that contract wraps up. But again, his game might be something that ages nicely. So it depends on the roster that you have built around him, what kind of situation you're trying to get him into, but he's naming a bunch of teams that you figured he'd want to go play for. Like he mentioned Phoenix, he mentioned Miami, he mentioned who else? Dallas is
Did he
potentially
mention
out
any other
there.
teams?
Boston's rumored, Atlanta's rumored, the 76ers are rumored
Are they
too.
rumored by anybody real?
From what I've seen, a couple, yeah. I
Really?
mean,
I
couple
I
check
haven't been on
marks, but
Twitter
who
that
knows?
much today. Well, I have a blue check mark. Should I
Yeah,
go tweet
well
something?
well well, if you have sources, I would probably trust you. If you were like,
I
"I
don't.
got a source, guys." I've had sources before, like, sometimes it's a random connection where it's like, "Yeah, like, I know a guy who, like, waits tables, and he saw so and so, like, having a talk with so and so about getting this guy." And, like, you know what? I've heard of crazy situations, and it turns out that it was true, so, like, you never know, but, again, I just find it interesting how the Nets are gonna approach this because they're screwed in, like, every single capacity.
And they also traded a pick again today.
Why did they do that? Did like they must have not known that like Durant was gonna ask out because now it's like great, we just don't have any picks. So the Suns, Devin saying this Philly dark horse and this Suns probably leader in the clubhouse. I think yes and no, right? Because the Suns are probably going to have to trade DeAndre Ayton, but I guess there's going to be some kind of issue with that because of the contract situation extension for giving it for Ayton. So if they do a sign and trade, not only does it hard cap them, but because I think it would be like an extension based on where Ayton is in his career, there's like a whole issue because of Ben Simmons being on the Nets that might prevent that. Also, apparently the Nets
How
are
funny is
demanding
that,
Devin
by the
Booker.
way? How funny is it, like, Ben Simmons just being there, has not played a single game for the Nets, is making it even harder for them? And also, before we move on, congratulations to Devin who got engaged.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Congrats, man. Hey,
And
Congrats,
Jack has
Devin.
returned at an excellent time.
Yes,
Mazel
sir.
tov.
Yes,
Welcome
sir.
back.
And I
Look at
have-
that. Look at the drip in the background there.
go.
Just
Oh,
like what
wow.
Ben
Hey,
said,
I
right?
like that background. That's nice.
There we go.
That is nice.
But yes, we're back. What did I miss? What have you guys discussed that I can
We're just talking
yell
about
at
the
Sam
Nets.
for?
We were kind of getting into. We've talked a little bit about the Durant in how does he have any leverage. So I know you had opposing viewpoints to mine.
What
And
is your viewpoints?
well, I can't believe. Now I have to preface it saying it's Kevin Durant. And with Brooklyn's current situation, they've kind of at least seemingly accepted their fate that this team is not sticking together.
Yes.
However, in a I don't know, I don't want to say perfect world, but like if you if you still believe in the team you have in front of you, right? And you're the Nets, you have Durant for 4 more years. If I'm Brooklyn and I really want to keep him, I'm saying, sorry, brother, you're under contract.
Well, he just wouldn't play, and he'd forfeit the money.
He'd forfeit the money. Well, he'd also forfeit his career at the end of his career.
Well,
tough.
I think eventually they'd reach out for a buyout. But
I
it's a hypothetical that's not going to happen. But
I understand like the mentality of you're under contract. That's not how it works anymore.
It
right?
should
This
be how
isn't-
it works.
No,
It absolutely should be. If you sign a contract saying, "Hey, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to work this job in order to get paid," which you did mention he would not get paid, but in order to get paid, you should have to show up to work, right? Ben Simmons tried I don't know what the status of it is, but he tried going legally at Philadelphia saying they owe him money when he just sat there, which they should not have to pay him a dime. And you are contractually obligated to play basketball for this team, and you have 4 years left. How can you have any leverage? How
He's
and
Kevin
the
Durant.
fact that they do have leverage is a problem. And Tim and I kind of talked about this a little bit, and Tim went into what he thinks would happen with the CBA. Me, a numbskull, cares nothing about the CBA and knows nothing about it. So Tim kind of broke it down and went into it a little bit. But these guys need to stop getting away with being babies. Now, do I understand where Durant's coming from? Yeah, I mean, Kyrie ran around and watched the whole season last year and then came back and they didn't gel or whatever. But at the end of the day, You signed the contract. You signed an extension when? Last year?
Something like that.
Not long ago. You should have to fulfill that. And if you ask for a trade, it should be up to the team. It shouldn't be a guarantee that they're going to trade you.
I understand, but it's more detrimental to the team to have an unhappy star who may or may not play than to have him on the roster. And it sucks, but that's how it is. And you can't just have like I want to say it's a players league, but I know you'll immediately come back about that. So I'll rephrase that into like the players matter. It's not just okay. They're not like they're not inanimate objects that you can just say, okay, this is our team. You do exactly what we say. It's not a dictatorship. That's not how the league works anymore. There's a players union, there's players' rights, which is great, and I'm all for it. You can't just and I understand the notion of you're under contract on this team. You need to play for this team. But at that point, especially when you're dealing with superstars who have already made enough money to settle down for the rest of their life, you can't just have an unhappy star. Like that's just not how it works. It's the same thing that happened with Anthony Davis. He had even more leverage though, because he only had 1 year left on his deal. Kevin Durant, would he actually sit out 4 years if the Nets didn't trade him? I don't know, but he definitely could because he doesn't need any more money or he doesn't need any more fame. He doesn't care. He just all right, screw you
he
guys.
Cares.
Like,
he wants to play. That's the one
not
piece of leverage.
Not for the Nets, no.
Yeah, but if you are now, it's different for like a Durant. But let's say like DeAndre Ayton, right? Or even DeJounte Murray, who just got traded yesterday, which we can talk about in a minute. I don't know if he was really pushing for a trade out of San Antonio. I know there was a lot of rumors.
He wasn't going to take an extension.
Okay.
I think
which is fine. See, that's how it kind of goes when you don't want to play somewhere anymore. You don't sign on to play more years there. That's typically how you would leave a job in real life. These guys
is real life. This is real life. It's just an absurd amount of money.
They do not live in the same world as any of us.
Well,
no, of course not.
It's because they have a players union, right? The players have rights. That's how like union jobs work.
You should have rights, but rights in being a man baby should not be in the same category. Like I talked about Ben Simmons, right? I don't know. I think you were still in the queue when we were talking about that. Just how, he sat out because they were mean to him. The absolute like bare bones, they were mean to Ben Simmons. He said, I'm not going to play for the 76ers anymore. And he sat out. And I have a ton of respect for how long they made him sit out. They made him sit out so long to where he actually I don't know if it's the direct correlation, but he became hurt trying to gear up to play because he wasn't in game shape. That's how long he sat out for. And especially Ben Simmons, who's still young, you work your whole life for a career in this game. You can't be screwing around at a younger age. Now, Durant is old, and he's done probably just about everything he can do, except for technically lead a team on his own. But then people will argue, Curry's never been on like the best guy in a team, or
he just was.
Yeah, whatever.
He just was.
He was. But oh man, like you cannot be letting guys like Ben Simmons get away with what happened. And the fact that he is trying to sue the 76ers for money he thinks he should be paid because he sat out is ludicrous.
He's, from what I'm aware, I don't think he's suing the 76ers because you didn't pay me while I sat out. I think he's suing the 76ers, and don't yell at me. Don't disagree with me because I'm just telling you what I know. This is not saying I agree with it, whatever. From what I'm aware, he's suing them because they didn't give him like the proper thing. Like he went to a therapist and they said, you didn't go to the correct therapist. We're not paying you. Like that was the sort of thing they said, because he said, I have mental health problems, which good for him for going to get them fixed and going to like get help. The 76ers said, you didn't go to our approved therapist, so we're not accepting that excuse. Something along those lines. So that's why there's like a debacle, not because he thinks, oh, you should pay me because I sat out, because there's like actual discourse that needs to be had between him and the organization. So whatever you want to say, I don't really care. This will make you feel better, though. I did see reports along the lines of the Nets have it's not an AD situation where they will trade him wherever he wants. They're going to trade him for the best package they get, which is good, right? Like
at the end of the day, if you want to compromise on how I feel and how it really is, that is how it should always go. these guys should not be able to dictate where they want to go if they're being traded. That's kind of the whole point of the trade, right? You're not signing with a team. The team is getting whatever they see fit back in exchange for you.
At the same time, though, the best packages are going to be to contending teams. That's just
Of
how
course,
it's like,
Miami's
because
got
they're
a
going to
ton
have
of
the most
players,
talent to like
Yeah.
readily dispose of, and then
and
that
be the
makes
most
sense.
willing to trade for KD.
and like
Yeah,
you
'cause
said,
they can
Tim,
take that dice roll.
they don't have any picks, so they have to either get picks or try and be good. So
Did you
they're
guys
looking to get people back.
do you guys talk Celtics, KD?
We have not talked really
I
much
was
of anything Celtics yet,
Yeah, I
which
mean,
is
we've mainly just
abnormal
been
for me.
talking about this whole Nets debacle. And in terms of like contracts, like the big thing that I was saying before, how this hurts the CBA is it's going to affect how guaranteed money goes around. And I mean, Evan said it in here. It's like if you sign a contract and you don't play for that team, you shouldn't get paid. I tend to agree with that notion. The only time it's ever going to really be an issue is like the Ben Simmons situation, where it's it has to do with mental health. How are you able to say that a guy isn't going to the right therapist or X, Y, and Z? But it's just going to create a lot of problems. There's so many contract situations that just went nuclear this year, and it's just going to ruin these CBA negotiations. It's going to affect player revenue. It's going to affect how these contracts are structured. And
If they'd
like
rather
that's
have that freedom over that structure, then that's the player's choice. You know what I'm saying?
and
Like, that's
exactly,
how it
maybe that's the
works.
compromise. But like my thought process, and this is what I said to Sam before you came on, was for the Simmons situation specifically, no one won that. No one won that. Like Ben Simmons was getting dragged through the mud. He wasn't getting paid. And on top of that, the 76ers had this massive cap hold where his money was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that's really where it sucks for the team that has this max contract player who just doesn't want to suit up and be on the floor for them.
Yep, I agree. As far as Celtics to Kevin Durant, I think we've talked about in the past, and I was like, I don't know about giving up Jaylen Brown, but now that it's in front of my face and a possibility, just saying, I don't think I'd be as upset as I would as I was when I was discussing hypotheticals. Now that it's here, and it's like there's a legitimate shot that the Celtics could trade for Kevin Durant. I'm not gonna sit here and say I would not give up Jaylen Brown. I'll put it that way.
Tim, you go ahead. You look very agitated.
Just gonna say
So
it.
here's my thought process. I really, really like Kevin Durant. And like Sam said, he's probably one of my favorite non-Celtics players. And he's arguably like he's probably a top 3 player in the league still, because he's just that good. And adding him to a team like the Celtics, adding him to Jason Tatum and whatever else is left when the dust settles on any kind of trade, obviously is tantalizing. But the Celtics literally were 2 games away from winning the NBA Finals. And I get it, like the concept, adding another star there. But there's a couple different issues that I have with it. One, I think if Kevin Durant was trying to go to the Celtics, he'd want to play with JT and JB. Like that I think is a given. I think that's a given. And also, like the way that the Celtics currently are structured, they have a bunch of money tied up with Al Horford. You've got Marcus Smart, you've got Derek White, you've got Tice, you've got like all these other contracts that can be used in order to make a trade happen. But the Nets are also in this spot where they need talent in order to compete, and they also need picks. So it's like, can you have your cake and eat it too? And I just don't know if that happens with Kevin Durant. And I feel like that ship just might have sailed. Like it might be a situation that's just too far gone. And it's just chasing a pipe dream at this point. We're chasing ghosts of 2016, where we want to add this superstar to get us to the NBA Finals when we just came off a Finals appearance. So I just don't understand it. Like you just need to flesh out your depth, add some shooters, and you could run it back. I get the appeal of Durant. He's literally one of the best players, if not the best player in the league right now. But I just can't sell myself on giving up on JB for that. I just can't.
I tend to agree with Tim, but in a different sense. I completely agree with the point where you say you're 2 games from winning the finals. Yeah, and you really should have won. You kicked it away. I don't know.
We're
how
not going back.
We're
not going back.
Nope.
You did.
Draymond's already making me angry enough. I can't dig into it.
You kicked it away.
Right now.
At the end of the day, you should have won the series. But that being said, in my opinion, it doesn't make any sense to make any drastic shakeup type changes to this team. You are going to be fine tuning the edges. Where did you really get killed in the finals? You had nothing in off your bench. You had nothing. You got nothing from those guys. Derek White played well for the first 3 games, then fell off a cliff. Pritchard didn't give you anything. Grant Williams didn't give you anything after the Bucks series. You need something else coming off the bench. I don't think that means you have to blow up your bench. I think it just means you have to bring somebody else in. Tim, you mentioned Lonnie Walker was not extended the qualifying offer. That's somebody you could think about. It's not fantastic, and nobody that the Celtics are going to probably get is going to knock your socks off. Jeez, I sound 80. But in all seriousness, you really aren't going to get the sexiest deal you will ever see. It's really not going to be somebody that like is the most incredible. What is this? You better not be stopping me for this surgery.
No.
What is this?
Prices
happened?
Achua is tweeting out stuff.
Oh, Jesus. Let's look.
What do you say?
It's starting to get spooky. Doesn't he play in the Pistons? No, he plays for Toronto.
Brian Windhorse says the Lakers
saw
could
this.
potentially
Go ahead.
put together a package for KD and Kyrie. Shut the fuck up, Brian Windhorse.
Yeah, but I think if KD
How?
and Kyrie wanted to play together, they would play together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It's kind of right in
Brooklyn's
front
not
of
the
them.
problem. Brooklyn's not the problem. I know that we want to say that it's
Anyways.
the problem, but it's not. It's not.
No. I'll say this on the KD Celtics thing. I'm not like actively saying like you have to do it. You need like trade Jaylen Brown immediately. I'm saying if they do it, I wouldn't complain because like, and I understand Jaylen Brown has the potential, but the level of Jaylen Brown versus Kevin Durant is like so far, and I know like he's still a top 25 player, not close, not even close to the same level of player, like levels to this. My friend texted me, and he's big KD guy. He said it's a horses league. Give away your ponies and get the horse to win the ring, which is extreme because the Celtics obviously were close, but I understand it, right? The thing for me is, and I think this is going to be the key in any Kevin Durant trade, it's going to be what team bites first on giving that extra inch. For the Celtics, the extra inch is Robert Williams. And I don't want to give up Rob, but that's going to be the extra inch of pushing it
Yeah.
over for the Nets, right? If the Celtics offer JB and Rob and, Grant, Pritchard picks, whatever, at that point, it's probably the best trade. If the Suns, with their, extra inch, is probably Mikal Bridges, right? Because they can offer, say, DeAndre Ayton, Cam Johnson, all the picks. They offer Mikal Bridges, boom, that's the best offer, right? If the Nets want to trade Ben Simmons for something, whatever, so they can get Bam Adebayo, that's the extra inch for the Heat. The Heat have no financial way of getting Kevin Durant. That's dead. Unless the Nets are willing to take on Lowry just to get Tyler Hero, it's not going to happen. It's just not.
I want to
The other
swing
one-
back after you're done. Go ahead.
The other one, the last one, and these are the 4 trades I think are the most possible for KD, is the Warriors. Send them back to Golden State. They get Andrew Wiggins, picks, Kuminga, Moody, Wiseman. That's the trade, and that's a good
Wouldn't that
trade.
be something?
I think those are the 4
I
most
hate
likely
it
trades
so
for
much.
KD. They're
I
the 4
hate it
most
so
likely, in my
much.
opinion.
I'm gonna-
God.
One of the other reasons I'm not super like over the top thrilled about the rumors, even though, listen, I mean, I'm kind of in Jack's boat. If it happens, we're probably all going to enjoy it for a little bit at least. But I really hate the contract. I just don't like paying anybody like almost $50 million. Right now, it's okay. Like this upcoming year, if you get him like today and he's on your team next year, yeah, fine, pay him $50 million. But that contract is extended. So he's going to be getting like $50 million when he's like 39. Is that
37,
still
I
going to be
thought.
worth it? Maybe.
He's
They're only
34
37
now.
Yeah, it's like 4
He'd
more
be
years.
getting 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, $53 million when he's 37.
Okay, that's a lot of money, man.
So much money.
That's a lot of
Oh my
money.
God.
I don't hate it for KD though. He's one of the very
So-
few people who I don't hate it for. They're, like
No, of
we've talked
course.
about this so many times.
Mhm.
There's probably like 3 players in the NBA that would be worth it for, and KD is absolutely one of them.
It's fair. And especially right now, yeah. Especially if he was on a deal like 2 years or something like that, to where if things go well, you could convince him to take a pay cut. like James Harden did, which I actually respect. I don't like Harden, but a very respectable move out of him, saying he will take a team-friendly deal in Philadelphia so they can
It's
improve.
going to be a very minimal team-friendly deal. It's going to be just enough for them to get PJ Tucker. It's still going to be like 35 mil.
It's
Yeah, he's like,
still,
it'll be in
I
like the
mean,
30 million range. I'm like,
that's better than that's
It's-
probably what he should be making.
well, it's better.
if I'm
Yeah, it's
being
better than
honest.
47 million.
Dude, for anything over 40 is
Insane.
outrageous. Anything over like
Insane.
35 is like, all right, let's all calm down a minute. But yeah, I couldn't fall in love with paying a 37-year-old Kevin Durant today when he's 37. When the time comes and he's 37, it could change. But right now, in my crystal ball, I have no interest in that.
According to this is from Legion Hoops, just aggregating Stephen A. Smith off ESPN. Kyrie Irving is telling everybody that he plans on going to the Lakers as soon as he possibly can.
Well, you're under contract, brother.
Well, it's a 1 year.
Yikes.
I wonder how hard it's going to be to sell the Nets on taking on Russell Westbrook's fat contract.
If I'm the Nets, I'm keeping him out of spite.
If I'm the Nets, I don't despise the idea of forcing the Lakers to give me their 27 and 29 first-round picks, because those are probably going to be pretty good, because they're not going to be good for that much longer, right? Like, realistically speaking, if they get Kyrie, then Kyrie and AD are probably going to be good, but who the hell? It wouldn't surprise me if Kyrie retires by the time he's 32, right? It wouldn't surprise me if this is the last deal, just because that's the kind of player he is. By 2027 and 2029, the Lakers could be in the dirt, and then the Nets would have some pretty good first-round picks. You take on Westbrook for 1 year too, then you get off the contract next year, right? Because he's on a 1 year deal. Like, if you're like, and I know Kyrie is as well, but then you have the picks too. I don't hate it. I think it's a bit foolish, but at the same time, you have to consider what other team is going to trade for Kyrie Irving now that he said this, right? Like, no other team's going to want a 1 year deal. They're not going to give up anything for a 1 year contract of Kyrie. The only team you're going to get, it's like an AD situation. The Kyrie thing is like Anthony Davis saying, I want to go to the Lakers, and forcing them to, only trade him to that one spot. So he'll probably end up in LA, which is crazy, which whatever. I don't really
Apparently the Clippers are another team that he could end up on. That was another thing that I think that might have been Windhorst who was saying it too, like, don't rule them out. I was also laughing because Jefferson was laughing.
I just saw it.
Windhorst, like, Windhorst started mentioning the Lakers and he just like broke completely. Zach LaVine apparently is not making a decision tonight, probably.
Wow.
Who?
So
I don't know how some
LaVine.
fans are going to sleep over that.
Yeah.
I mean,
think everything's going to be in a holding pattern until KD gets traded.
Yeah.
If I'm a Bulls fan, I'm losing sleep over that one.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, Zach LaVine.
No,
what a
he's being
prize.
sarcastic, Tim. He hates Zach LaVine.
Yeah, I think he sucks.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not. I feel like
Some of the
I don't like
emptiest
Zach
stats
LaVine, but
you'll
like
ever
if I'm the
see.
Bulls, if I'm a
You're an
Bulls
idiot.
fan, I'm not happy about that.
No,
He's
I
still a
mean you're
good
never
player.
thrilled when a guy leaves your team, but I mean, listen, I as just a neutral in that situation, who cares? Who cares? I mean, if I'm an NBA team, that's not the guy I'm paying.
You're not paying for like an extremely efficient 26 points.
No, not him.
Why?
What is it translated to? Nothing.
The playoffs. They just made the playoffs.
The
for
playoffs.
first-
Congratulations. The playoffs.
Another
The
case
first time ever.
Sam, this is another case of your green glasses high standards. That
No,
doesn't translate to the
it's
rest
not
of the
green
league.
glass. It's high
It
standards.
absolutely is.
It's high
Yeah,
standards, but
it's your
not green
Celtics high
glasses.
standards. It's because we're from Boston, so the standard is championship or bust. That's not how
It's
the
not
world works.
championship. It's literally just contribute to winning, and that's not.
They made
really
the playoffs. What do you
They
mean?
were horrible. They were a joke. They were the team everybody wanted to play in the playoffs.
He also dealt with some pretty significant injuries.
3 minutes, folks.
Their entire backcourt got hurt for the majority of the season.
That team is not legit, and he's not putting anybody,
In the playoffs.
past the second round.
Not every team is going to win a championship. That's just not how it works. But you have to pay to keep stars. Like, what are you saying? Are you saying they'd rather just like not pay him and let him walk for nothing? Like, that's stupid. That's dumb.
If I have an option to pay somebody else, I'm paying somebody else.
They don't have the option. Who else would they pay?
I don't know.
It'd have to be a sign and trade. And
Dude,
then it'd be
I'm
hard
just
cap.
telling you, it's not. It stings today, but like in a year or two, it's not the end of the world.
Anyways, we
That
have
is not a franchise-altering player.
I'm worried we're not going to see much at the start of free agency because KD, everyone's holding out.
That sucks, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I'll throw on ESPN. So actually, never mind. Shams is just going to fucking drop everything on Twitter before ESPN gets anything.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a clusterfuck.
I'm excited. How would you guys feel about Melo to the Celtics? I assume you're talking about Carmelo, and I wouldn't hate it. I think he'd be more than fine. As long as it's honestly, I still might give him the MLE. I would give him 3, 4, 5, 6 mil for a year or two. I don't hate that. He was really good last year for the Lakers, but I also don't think he's leaving LA. If I had to guess, he'll probably go back.
I don't think he's like the best guy to give the MLE to. You know, if that makes
He's
sense.
not
Like,
the top
there are
guy.
other guys I would
Yeah.
rather pay than him.
I wrote an article today for Celtics targets. We can look at that in the last minute we have here.
And I don't
You
care
guys
for
wanna
Melo
look?
either. I don't know.
I thought you were about to say I don't care for your fucking opinions.
Yeah, I don't care for it.
I thought this was about your what you're gonna say. I almost send an invite share. Let's see. Share screen. All right, you guys seeing the screen here?
Let's see. Here we go.
Alrighty.
Oh, look who's in the thumbnail. Who it
yeah,
is.
he is in the article. He is in here.
That is the guy.
These are off-season targets. So there's some TPE, some MLE. Caleb and Cody Martin gotta be some of my top guys. I mean, if you can get them for the MLE, I'd give it to either of them. Good defense, good 3-point shooting, perfect 10th, 9th guy in the rotation. You need wing depth. What do you guys think? Cody, Caleb? Yes, no?
I don't hate it. I think you could do a little better,
it's
but I
not
don't hate
costing you much, so that's fine.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite thing about this upcoming offseason. Probably everybody that's on your list, Jack, whether it's the contract or a trade, is going to cost you nothing because these TPEs are just sitting there waiting to be used.
Yes. Oh,
Here
Malik Monk is signing with the Kings.
First person ever to sign with the Kings.
I want to see what the number is because there was rumors of him getting like 8 to 11 or 12 million.
If I had to guess, he'll probably get, if they have the non-taxpayer MLE, it'll probably be like 10 mil. Devin Booker and Jokic just inked huge extensions.
Good on
So I guess they're not going anywhere, are they?
For now.
As if you needed another
Booker
reason
will also be on the
for
2K
now.
cover.
DeAndre Jordan is going to the Nuggets. Jesus, yikes.
Here we go. Here it comes.
Isaiah Hartenstein's going to the Knicks.
Oh, damn.
Woo!
My computer's not loading fast enough.
My phone is buzzing.
Okay, maybe I should just get my phone out.
Should I keep going over these targets? Or should
back
I
to the
close
Heat.
Lame.
Okay.
11 mil.
That's a lot of money, man.
I'd really prefer these guys left the Eastern Conference.
All right, I'm just gonna keep my phone out because it's gonna be faster than my desktop. Apparently.
Should I share the here? I'll share my Twitter notification screen on
Bradley Beal, Max
5-year, $251 million back to the Wizards.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
There it is. Not surprising either.
I agree with Keith Smith. Why would Denver sign
DeAndre?
Batum going to the Clippers back? Okay, hold on. Let me share my I'll share my notifications
not loading
tab.
fast enough.
Here we go.
Damn.
Here we go.
Here we go. Okay, you got Tim, you can look here if you want. I have this here.
76ers.
Yeah, we knew that was coming. We knew
how much are they throwing to him?
3 years, 33 mil for PJ Tucker. Hey, I don't hate it. It's
how old is he going to be by the time that wraps up? He's going to be like what, 38?
39. I think 39, 40.
That's so much money.
It's
dude.
a lot, but I mean,
it's going to look bad by the end of it.
Keith Smith just tweeted, always impressed at how quickly teams come to agreement on these deals.
It's just so amazing. It's like, it's just instantaneous.
There's Sam.
Just so quick in agreement.
Sam making appearances. Yeah.
Dominoes are falling. Come hang out with us, please.
I love the Malik Monk signing for Sacramento, by the way. I think that's perfect.
2-year deal approaching $20 million.
Yes, the MLE. 2-year, 19 mil. That's good.
That's not bad.
I love that. I love that for the Kings, man. That's great. They get a score.
It's crazy that he took like what, the league minimum, vet minimum last year. That was crazy that he did that. But hey, you know what? That's a good amount of money, and it'll give him enough time to actually go out and get another one once this is wrapped up.
I love Monk for the Kings though, because it's the perfect mix of they're going to win now because he's a good player, but he's also young enough to like help them for the future, right? Because they're not going to be like a good team for a while now. So getting younger players is huge for them.
This man Shams is really putting Woj in the body bag
He
today.
really is. You know what Woj is doing?
Absolute
Woj is
blender.
Shams had so many tweets waiting in the draft. That's so funny.
Anthony
Simon's
4-year,
good
100
That's a
time.
mil.
lot of money.
He was gonna get a max though anyway. You knew he was.
I guess, but still. Oh wait, why am I not?
Well, you know what
signing
you got to
in?
respect is
Hold up.
Woj dropping his sources on the timeline. Shams not.
Yeah, you did respect that. I love the Hartenstein signing for the Knicks, by the way. I love Hartenstein. I think he's
He was a
really good.
guy that I would have liked on the Celtics because they need to get.
He was
another
on my
backup
list.
Big. Yeah, a lot of people were really on Hartenstein. So the fact that he ended up going to the Knicks is very interesting. But they also needed another big if they're moving on from Nerlens Noel. So
I was gonna
that
say it
makes
also
sense.
means, are they gonna re-sign Robinson? Question mark.
Ooh, I figured they
They,
would.
they were saying
I know.
4
but
years,
still,
60
That's a lot of
a lot
money
of money.
for. I mean,
for
considering
somebody
he's
that
had
can't
injury
get up
issues.
on the court. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. Oh man, that's
Just
crazy.
waiting on him to come in. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm just waiting now.
Well, all right, Jack, you don't have to go through the article, but who are some other guys you want to see the Celtics land? Because I have a few
Ooh.
that I would like to. Oh, that sucks. That was one of them.
What
Portis?
happened?
You
Yeah,
wanted Portis?
That was one of them.
Oh no, that we knew that was happening.
We
That
should
was
just
always
not
happening.
name any players that we want because they're gonna. Be
I
so-
didn't.
so
I
fast.
didn't even say it. I
Don't
would've
even
liked
think
that.
about him.
Bobby Portis was always going back to the Bucks. We knew that.
He
We
loves
knew
it
that.
there. They love him
Yeah.
there too. He's a fan favorite. Good for him. He's a problem. Bobby Portis is a problem.
Oh, isn't that too bad?
It's a damn shame.
Anyways, what happened?
No, I was just gonna say Shams is
Oh.
late with that one. I was like, Woj got him. Got.
I can't get a word in. Every time I refresh, it logs me out at Twitter.
What?
Very annoying.
What's this?
I'll just not go full screen. I think that's what's doing it. So you can enjoy
Maybe.
my bottom taskbar of apps, my
I just keep
Spotify,
refreshing with one
my
hand.
League of Legends. Enjoy my bottom taskbar. on the screen.
How? So all right. So Jack, you said the Martin brothers. I know Bruce Brown is on that list. of
I have it
yours.
here. I have it on the screen.
All
TJ Warren. TJ
That's a good
Warren's
one.
up there.
That's a
Love
good one.
TJ
That's
Warren.
been thrown around quite a bit. Mr. K right in the chat, right on time with the needing a wing and a shooting worse than a big, and shooting worse than you need it more than the big.
Yeah.
And TJ Warren, there you go, right on the nose.
The only thing that I would say is I think Tice is getting paid a lot to be a third big, and he's just not. You need a rim runner. You can get a rim runner for less than what you're paying Tice. Is I guess my thought process.
Shocker.
Brunson.
Jalen Brunson. Who knew, man? That's
Slightly less than what they were saying before, though.
what
It's
is it?
only 6 mil under because they were saying 4 years, 110, and it's 104. But either
So
way,
what?
that's a
$26
lot of
million?
clam. Yeah, about
Yikes. That's wild. I mean, we knew it was coming. We
yeah.
knew it was coming.
I would
Where's that?
if I had to like put money on people that would land here, I think Mo Bamba will be on the Celtics next year.
I don't love
I'm not saying it's
Bamba.
the greatest thing on the planet. I'm just saying that's what I think. And I
I
think
have sections. I have wings, bigs, and playmakers
right.
on my list. So we'll finish the wings first. Duncan Robinson, Sam. I know that was a point of contention because you don't love D-Rob, but I think he'd be good.
Yes, sir.
well, it's not that I don't love it. The problem
Daniel
is
House is going to the Sixers. Sorry, I'm just reading.
the problem is with what has been said by Brad and Ime ahead of the offseason, they are really looking to keep defense first as the team's mantra.
And
if
I
you bring
understand
in
that.
Robinson, that doesn't make sense by what they said. That doesn't mean it's the worst thing on the planet. And I understand the upside to that, where he's getting paid that much money for a reason.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I just think it's nice to have specialist guys, although he would be expensive.
4 years,
Also,
214 mil for.
You
For
couldn't find a
Booker.
picture of him against the Celtics?
I didn't put this in. This was Bill.
Okay.
And I think it's also because I had Barton on the list. Barton was my next one before the trade, but then I had to edit it. And I
Okay.
edited it for Gary Harris of the.
It's not bad. That was somebody we threw around at the deadline. If you watch our special, I think we talked about him quite a bit,
We
Yep.
absolutely did.
and
Not
it
bad.
didn't end up happening. But
we were praying for that buyout.
yeah, it never happened. Never happened.
Don't hate it. Don't hate it.
Nearly $9 billion for the NBA last year.
Crazy. Into bigs, unfortunately, the first big I did have on the list was Isaiah Hartenstein, who just signed with the Knicks. So that is a no-go anymore, but I think he would have been great for Boston. Next up, I have Damian Jones. We're talking third string bigs, right? We're not talking high end. We're talking can be had with Emily or a minimum contract. Damian would probably be closer to a minimum. He had a really good season with the Kings last year. He was solid. He averaged in their last 11 games when he got real minutes in 27 minutes, he averaged 15, 6, and 2 and a block and a half. Like he's athletic. He could sort of replicate what Rob does, obviously not perfectly, but if you're getting a minimum big that would probably play minutes and then allow you to trade Tice, Damian Jones, I think is a good option.
Yeah, but does he have a song?
No, he does not have a song.
Mo Bamba has a song.
Daniel House, 2 years, 8.5 mil from the Sixers.
He
Jeez.
was he even on a team?
Yeah, he was on the Rockets.
He was.
No, he's not with the
okay.
Jazz.
Oh,
Wait.
speak of the devil.
Wait, what? What was happening?
Mo Bamba back to the Magic. For a lot more money than I thought he would be getting paid.
Fun.
21 million over 2 years. That's
There
the
you go.
MLE, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't hate it for them. It is what it is. Am I freezing? Am I here? Is my
No.
Wi-Fi pooping?
You're
Like,
here.
what's happening?
You're
You're
good.
here.
Your
Here.
your
We're all
article's
here.
not
Okay.
moving. Oh, there
Oh.
you go. What is this?
I don't know.
Right. I'm back.
2
Anyways,
years, 21
other
million.
bigs. Hello?
What's
Am I
going
back?
on?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
you're here.
I don't hate it.
21
Am I
million
here?
for Mo Bamba seems like a lot.
It's me.
Jack, you are here, brother. I don't
We can
know.
hear you. Can you
I don't
hear us?
hate it.
Oh, he's
You guys
way
keep
behind.
lagging for me, which is the issue. It's 'cause I had a
Oh,
little
no.
Wi-Fi.
Steve and I are
stuff.
on the same
Stop
page.
sharing the screen then, I think. That might be it. See if that helps.
Let's see.
Are you good now?
Is that better? Is that better?
Yes.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Are we delayed or anything?
Okay, good. No, right?
Okay.
Am I responding in real time now?
Yeah, you're a little bit behind, but that's okay. Not terribly. It's okay.
I can reset.
You're okay.
That's
You don't
I think
need to
you're fine
reset.
now.
You're fine.
So, everything's fine.
All right. I'll keep running through the list, but I have it on my phone now, so you guys can't read. What do I leave off? Damian Jones, the other big. I had Dwight Powell in the TPE if they can't find
Former
another use
Celtic.
for it. It's a 1-year contract, $11 million off the books after next year, just as a backup big. Like he started, and he's got durability. He played all 82 games for the Mavs last year. So if you want someone that'll play, Dwight Powell, there you go.
He's the anti-Simmons.
Yeah. And then the last option I had for Big Ben, his name's John Butler Jr., but he's just undrafted free agents. Get a young guy, get somebody who he went undrafted, you can develop. John Butler Jr., super athletic, super versatile, super skinny, so you need to develop him, but attacking the undrafted free agent market and then, taking a chance on somebody there.
Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones returning to the Grizzlies. 2 year, $30 million. That's a big number.
As a song.
There you go. I love that for the Grizzlies, though. He's been great for them, Tyus Jones.
That's true.
Yeah, he was big in there.
Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles going to the Bucks for a 1-year deal.
Oh, come on.
There you go.
Man.
Apparently,
These guys got to stop coming to the Eastern Conference.
Wow.
Oh, it's Joe Ingles. Come on.
It doesn't matter.
This is from a guy in Phoenix. This is a verified guy who does work. John.
What's his name?
Gambadoro.
Oh,
He has two sources telling me the Nets are not interested in DeAndre Ayton.
Good.
Well, probably partly because of what we talked about with that they kind of can't take him.
Yeah, but if they wanted him, they would get rid of Simmons. No, if you gun to my head right now, if I had to pick between Simmons and Ayton, I'm taking Ayton.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Rounding out my list, additional playmaking or just extra things. Bruce Brown, obviously. Sam loves Bruce Brown. There you go.
Hold on. Bobby Portis has been re-signed by Milwaukee as of like 10 minutes ago.
Yesterday, he declined his player option. Today, he re-signed.
Yeah.
I'll run through these quick. Bruce Brown would be an MLE guy if the Celtics could convince him. TJ McConnell, is a TPE option, but he's under contract for 3 years, I think, and he'll make $9 million at the end of it, so that's a bit expensive for a third string. Javon Carter for a minimum or the MLE as a backup, and then Avery Bradley, former friend, for a minimum contract.
He can't wear the
Our
same
options.
number, so no.
1 year deal for Joe Ingles,
Yes.
reportedly
Yes,
to the
yes.
Bucks. Interesting.
Yeah. His wife reported it, his agent. Love to see it. I think we're all caught up now, right?
We're just sitting here waiting. I am
We're
hungry.
waiting. I'm gonna be eating on stream, muted. So you
I
guys
may
won't
be
play that
eating
image.
soon. I don't know what the plan is.
I might have to bounce in about 7-ish minutes.
No
I'm going to
worries.
trivia tonight, so I'm sure something great will
Hey.
happen while I'm out. Of course it will.
Love that. Sam and I
Wait.
can do a mukbang stream for free agency.
Maybe we'll have
mute
to-
me.
We should do that actually. That
What
sounds
is that?
fantastic. It's
Mukbang
well,
is when you eat and podcast, shit like that.
yeah. You just
Dude,
eat on
who's
camera.
listening to that?
No one's listening to the eating. It's more so just like you're just eating and you're talking
It's
about
just like
whatever.
conversation.
Yeah, but like people are listening. Like you're choosing to listen.
Well,
It's
I'm
the
not
same
like-
people who like. It's the
Not
same
like
people who
eating
like
into the microphone.
ASMR.
Yeah,
Like,
those people
God.
need a slap.
That is gross. I don't actually. I hate mouth noises. It's one of my pet
Thank
peeves.
God Chris Haynes tweeted out
Can't
that Joe
do it.
Ingles nude twice. I'm really glad he did that.
Just to
Wes-
make
oh, he
sure
deleted
everyone
the
got
first
it.
one. Wesley Matthews returning to the Bucks.
What a
There you go.
menace.
Bucks are doing stuff, man. Not really like massive stuff, but they're doing
They're
housekeeping stuff.
maintaining
There you
it.
go. There you go. Thoughts on this? It's Gear saying Gallinari. What do we think?
That seems one of the more realistic options to me.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I'll put it that way.
He doesn't fit that whole defensive mantra.
And he's older.
Yeah.
I will say he did have that game a year and a half ago where he just decided he wasn't going to miss anymore against the
They do
Celtics.
need a scorer off the bench though. I think they do need a little bit of a scoring punch there.
I agree
help
with
them out.
that.
But
Oh.
yes.
76ers are now hard capped at the tax apron by virtue of using the full non-taxpayer MLE to sign PJ Tucker and the biannual exception to sign Daniel House.
They will be hard capped as soon as they're finished, but I can't imagine like they could still
Order
make
of
moves.
operations, you're
Yeah,
right.
exactly,
Yeah, they might try and make a couple things happen. Yeesh.
It's interesting. You haven't seen actually. You did see the Heat do something. Actually, they re-signed Oladipo. It makes
Which
you
was
wonder.
a surprise.
Yeah, he was expected to leave. You have to question whether or not Amir Coffey 3-year deal with the Clippers, 11 mil, 3 years. That's actually pretty good value for Coffey. He was actually good for them last year. He was quietly good. You have to wonder. All these teams are making these moves without the KD stuff falling. Who are the sleepers? Like this is the Suns. Could they get it done without Booker at this point? That's what reports are saying. No, but you never know. The Heat are signing. There goes
Javon
my Damian
Carter.
Jones idea.
2-year deal with the Lakers. Javon
Lakers.
Carter, 2-year deal to return to Milwaukee. Amir Coffey, 3-year, 11 mil deal with the Clippers. I know that I think they retained his rights the other day, right? I think they had put out a qualifying offer.
One thing that Greeny just tweeted that makes a lot of sense is somebody replied to him saying, not a ton of movement so far. A lot of players resigning. He said, makes sense since you can talk to your own players. So right at the thing. I mean, you would imagine that.
Mhm.
I mean, all these teams by the rules, not tampering. Good on them, right?
I will say
Except
though,
Brunson.
yeah, I will say though, two of my targets that we just talked about off the board in the span of 30 seconds. Damian Jones, 2-year Lakers. Javon Carter, 2-year Bucks. Maybe Mike Budenholzer will actually play him over George Hill this time. Maybe that'll be a decision they make.
Dude, this dude
but-
Budenholzer should be kissing KD's feet because that's why he has a job. If KD's toe was not on the line, he would be unemployed, or at least he wouldn't be coaching that team anymore.
There you go. It's funny. Yeah, a lot of minimum deals here. Nothing too splashy yet. Who are the biggest names still out there? Because Beal resigned. I kind of like that. I think the Wizards are low-key putting like a competent team together. Not saying it's like a championship level, but I think they can make the playoffs. Like Beal, Porzingis, Kuzma, Will Barton, Monte Morris.
Rui.
They're young guys. Rui.
I
I
like
think
Rui a
that's
lot.
I think that could be a play-in team. Call me crazy. They'd have to beat out somebody, and with the way the Hornets are going, they might beat out the Hornets.
Yeah, I'm interested to see
Yikes,
how
man.
the Hornets go forward. It's weird. Full circle, they're going back to Clifford. I honestly thought
That's
Atkinson
not
was
even
going
what
to
I'm
go
talking
there.
about. I'm talking about Miles Bridges being
Oh
the
God,
scum of
I
the
did
earth.
touch that. Jeez, that whole situation is just awful.
What a summer he's had. He
Terrible.
he thought it'd be the summer of George, and it's not.
He just
Horrible. He did.
all of
That's
that
just
is terrible. There's
horrible. We
no
don't
one
even have to
wins in
talk about
that.
it.
Yeah,
Just
awful,
horrific. Horrific.
horrific.
I hope the woman is okay because that it was just awful, the story that came
Yeah.
out. Anyways, yeah, a lot of minimum deals going around. Who's the biggest name left out there right now is what I was trying to get at. I'm trying to
Hmm.
think.
Let's see. Let me pull up a free agency tracker. Might do all the
Name?
hard work for me.
Kemba. The biggest name is probably Kemba.
Kemba. That's a name.
Where do you think Kemba's going to end up playing? It's not going to be here.
Lakers.
Ugh.
Lakers 1 year. Or back to Charlotte, low key. Chris Boucher returning to the Raptors. 3 years, 35 mil.
What do you
There
think
you
of that?
go.
Is that appropriate? Is that too
Yeah,
much?
I think 10 mil is good for Boucher. I think that's about right.
Somebody tweeted Woj must be washed. Or might be washed.
TJ
So-
Warren is probably one of the bigger names out there. He hasn't gone.
So-
Is he a free agent though, or is
Yeah.
he
free?
TJ
free agent.
Warren is?
Bruce
This is-
Brown too.
yeah.
Henry's right.
Yeah, you're right.
Bruce Brown is number one for me. And with I don't think you're gonna see movement from him right now. And that's because of the KD thing. Who knows what they're doing there? But I would love to see him end up here. I love it. Love it,
So,
love it, love it. Been
here-
calling for it for months.
Here are the names. This is just updated as of like
Lou
8 minutes
Dort,
ago.
extension, tough.
Oh, cool.
5 years,
Where?
87.5. Woj.
Oh, wow, you
Whoa,
got it ahead
that's
of me.
a long
Wow.
extension.
Timeline.
That's a lot of money.
Is that a lot of money? What is
Tough,
that?
tough.
16
It's
mil.
less than it's probably
16. That's not that bad.
It's
it's
a
probably
long
what
deal.
should a lot.
17.
It's
5
like what
years?
a lot of guys should be making that make like 25.
Yeah, probably.
That's a good deal.
I think it's
I
less
mean-
about the money. It's more about the length of the deal. 5 years always just feels like a lot to me. But it's a good deal for them.
I like
for
that. I mean,
OKC.
They're gonna have what? Lou Dort, Shea, Chet Holmgren, Josh Giddey. That's a nice score. I love that for
And
them.
Poku.
And, get out of here.
All the malnourished fellas are running around down there.
Keith had this a little while ago. Joe Ingles got the full non-taxpayer MLE with the
That's
Bucks,
a lot of money. 6.3 mil. 6.3.
and he's coming off injury.
Yeah.
So for the remaining free agents, we've got Zach LaVine, James Harden, technically, but everyone's expecting to go back to the 76ers. Miles Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, Colin Sexton, Mitchell Robinson.
Henry's
Nurkic.
right.
Sexton is a sleeper.
Yeah,
Sexton's
Kevon
a-
Looney, Kyle Anderson, Bruce Brown, we already mentioned. Nick
Is
Batum,
Kuzma?
you can take off the list.
Kuzma's
Is
he's
he a
on
trade
contract.
guy?
He'll be a trade
Trade
guy
guy.
for sure.
'Cause
Gary Payton.
I've seen a ton of him. I don't think Gary
Um,
Payton's leaving.
No,
I
Otto
don't think
Porter
so either.
Jr. might. TJ
I
Warren.
think he's might leave.
Yeah, we said Dante, Gary, Melo, Boucher is obviously off the list. Thad Young's available. Patty Mills, who opted out of that option, so he's hitting the market too. I feel like that
It-
situation with the Nets, probably he saw the writing on the wall and was like, "Nope, I'm not sticking around for this stuff."
Mhm. The Nuggets have signed Davon Reed to a 2-year deal. There you go.
Okay,
Some news for you.
Nick Batum. Oh, we already have that.
Yeah, we got that. Nick. Oh, I was just about to say the same thing. Your Woj notifications are coming in a second earlier than mine.
No, I'm just refreshing the timeline. That's how you got to do it.
I
I'm
thought that
doing
they
that
already
too.
had the Batum deal like announced. I
They
thought
did. Chris Haynes put it out.
okay. I was gonna be
Hmm.
like, Woj, like where you
Woj is
been,
wild.
No,
buddy?
dude, this dude Woj might
It
be
sounded like
washed.
15
The
minutes ago.
timeline might be right.
Dude, Haynes is gonna get
Chad,
paid.
is Woj washed?
Haynes gonna get paid.
Haynes is gonna get paid. Haynes is
I'm just
good.
wondering where he's
Shams
gonna go.
has him. Shams is running laps though.
And
that
also,
carpal
Chad, what
tunnel.
are some guys you like?
Yeah, who are some Celtics guys? I really want Cody Martin, man. I think it's just because I watched him on the Hornets last year. Dude is, and maybe he looked better because the Hornets don't play defense, but dude's a defensive menace. He can be point of attack. He can do whatever you need him to do, and he hits shots. And he's sneaky athletic. He's good. He's got bounce. I really
All
like
right.
Cody Martin.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna hop off.
All right.
As
guess
soon as
I'll-
Tim hops off, the Celtics are going to do something.
I hope. Honestly, I'm fine with that. Maybe I'll pop in on my phone, but I gotta get going. But Thanks, gents. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll obviously talk to you guys in the chat. And everybody, thank you for tuning in and stick around. Things are going to keep getting more interesting. I'm sure we'll have
Right,
something
man.
once the KD news comes out. We'll probably end up streaming about that at some point.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sure we will. Tim,
Alrighty,
get all the questions correct.
I'll let you know how it goes.
All
Cheers,
right.
fellas.
Bye, Tim.
Goodbye.
Now, Jack, should we take select commenters, invite them in? We don't have to admit them. I think you can unmute people without letting them on the screen.
If we want to, sure. I don't
Like
mind.
I'm sure PJ has some things he can contribute. He's always in there.
Yeah.
I know you're close
If
with
you
him.
wanna
We can
pop
try
in.
it. Let's
Yeah,
fix the background.
Gear, if you wanted to pop in, you're welcome to come through. You know, we can have people
Henry.
up. Henry can come through as well. I'll have to make a new
We'll
yeah,
do
what is
this
it,
for now.
background? I think I have one. I'll
I know
get
you
one.
have one, but you can't have it looking like that.
Yeah, give me a sec. Give me 2 seconds here, and I'll fix the
Trevelyan
background for the
Queen
fellas.
has agreed to play for Philadelphia. Trevelyan.
He was he's a G League MVP last year.
Oh,
He is. Yes,
Look at
I
that.
believe. He was a Rockets guy, and then he won G League MVP, but the Rockets said no.
what do you think of this guy out of Purdue the Celtics signed as an undrafted?
I don't know.
People have been gassing him up, man.
Trevion
I don't know what his
Williams,
name
that
is, but I can
think
tell
his name
you,
is Trevion Williams, right?
is it him?
Trevion Williams.
Davon Reed, 2 years to Denver.
Yeah, Trevion Williams. I don't hate it. I mean, he's fine. I admittedly don't know too much about him, but he seems cool. Just another guy, I guess. I think he's more of a traditional big from the brief stuff that I've read, so he'd have to translate that a little bit. But I don't hate it for the Celtics.
I saw somebody quote tweet an Australian guy, and he goes, "I'm sorry, Katie did what?" And the guy goes, "Australians are about to have a wild morning."
That's so true. Very true.
Oh man, why is this damn?
I'm trying to get my tweet deck up. Notifications, add column. That's not the right thing. I don't want that type of notifications. I want tweet content. Let's see.
Yam Madar
How do I get this up?
is he a 20? Yeah, he was a second round pick. So he's not playing summer league, Henry. He is playing for the Israeli national team.
Yeah.
Instead of that, Deadman will be back in Miami. He's another guy that said the streets were saying he was leaving.
2-year, $9 million. What the hell? They're handing out money. I guess they have money because PJ left, but that's weird.
Not only are they handing out money, but like they're just bringing everybody back.
I mean, they had a good team. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's what I mean. Like, it was all these people saying these guys are leaving.
Yeah, very true. That's wild, man. I'm just refreshing here. Nothing for the Celtics yet. I like. I mean, if you're circling back, I like Bradley Beal going back. You know, I think it was like you got to take that money. That's historical money you're getting.
I think it's a very honorable move.
He said he wants to be the Dirk of Washington. I think is what he said.
Well, he's not going to win, but he can be respected by all for not being
can be a playoff team. Which again, not saying much, but I don't. I think what happened.
No. I'm just looking to see what the money is. What is it? 5 for 250? Yeah. Oh Jesus,
it's a lot of money, right?
That's not money.
I have the exact breakdown for you because Keith wrote next contract series, Spo track, so I can tell you the exact contract he signed for. Let me find it for you.
PJ saying they want to move on. The fans want them to move on from him.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It's just, oh man, that's $50 million a year on average. Oh my God, no, thank you.
I'll tell you. Okay, ready? This is what it is. The most money, which is what he got from the Wizards, he's gonna get. Is it 5,250 or 5,245?
It's 5,251.
Oh yikes! So that's even more than what.
That is hurtful.
That's even more than what Keith wrote. So
Keith is probably right, but that's what I saw in a tweet.
No, I believe you. Keith said, okay, yeah. This is think of this, but probably around like what, like $1 million more on each contract, right? So it'd probably be $43 million the first year. In year one, you're paying him $43 million. Year 2, 46 mil. Year 3, 50 mil. Then 53 mil. Then 56 mil by the last year. He's in 25-26. He's going to be making $56 million. Bradley Beal. Crazy, crazy money,
Dude.
Uh,
That is insane. We talk about this all the time, Jack. There are very few players I would give over like
Yes.
35 to, and he is not
Yeah.
one of them.
He is not one of them. I
Like,
agree.
just think of it like this: even if you're giving someone $35 million, you can still sign another solid player for 15, and you have one guy who has never done particularly anything in terms of success.
Thad
in
Young,
terms of winning.
Raptors, 2 years, 16 mil.
Okay, that's another guy that could have potentially been a Celtics guy.
I didn't love it.
No, I mean, but that's always a name we hear as fans.
Yeah,
when the
yeah.
deadline's going on, it's always him. So that's someone else that will not be on the Celtics. Nothing, not a whole lot right now. It's 6:30. Let me put in a message, see if any food's coming, see what we can do with that. Right? Maybe
sleeper team for Kevin Durant. I wanted to run by you just because we saw the recruiting.
They in the Eastern Conference?
No.
Good.
Toronto. Portland Trailblazers is the name.
Good. Let him go there. I'd love to see him go there. Good.
I think that'd be
get
really
out of the
fun.
Eastern Conference.
I think that'd be super fun tandem. They've always been my second favorite team.
Is Gary Trent a free agent? I don't think so.
No, he's under.
Did he get extended? Like last year, right? He got extended, or he got signed last year. I think
so. I can tell you his contract. Hold up. Excuse me. He is under contract next year for 17.3 mil, and then he has a player option for the 23-24 season for 18.5. So there you go for Gary Trent Jr.
Oh man, I feel like there's a lot of fun possibilities that the Celtics to get with the TPE.
It's really not as much anymore because Will Barton, I think, was maybe the most fun guy. Like, I don't think there are many guys out there that fit under the TPE that you can bring in anymore. Like, I really don't think it's as fun as we think. Like, let me go through. I'll start at, what is it, 17.1?
Yep.
I'll run down the list, and I'll not say them if they're not going to get traded. Excuse me, sorry, I coughed. Duncan Robinson, Norm Powell, who is not going to get traded, DeJounte Murray, who just got traded. I was about to say Marcus Smart because he's on the list. DeJounte Murray, who just got traded. Markelle Fultz, who I don't think they're going to trade. Lauri Markkanen, who you'd have to pay $18 million in 2 years, and he's under contract. Marcus Morris, there's an option, but I don't think they're looking to just give up salary. I think they want stuff in return. Davis Bertans, who'll under contract 3 years. Malik Beasley is an option. I think the best option is probably Kevin Huerter. That's out there. And I like Kevin Huerter. I think
the most pale man you will ever see.
Outside of Luke Kennard, who's another option.
I don't know. I think if you put those two bad boys out there, tell them to go play in the park. Herter's guaranteed getting a sunburn. I'm not sure about.
That's just because he's ginger.
No, he is like he is like if you like have frosting on a donut. Like that's what he looks like.
Yeah, did you see Juancho got released earlier today?
I did see. Are you gonna put it up? You want me to put it up?
I'll put it up.
Okay.
Poor Bo Cruz.
And well, he can act, and I'm not even like trying to be sarcastic. He was excellent in that movie.
I still need to watch it.
You didn't watch it?
I know.
What have you been doing? There's nothing to do. We've had 2 weeks.
I still work.
The season ended. You're right. But I work, and I don't do a damn thing. I've watched season half of Stranger Things, which I never saw before this. I am enjoying not having to do anything with basketball right now. But I will say, this is a funny comment from PJ. But I will say, it's nice. It's nice to be back doing a stream, but it is nice not having to leave work immediately, get into what I'm doing after work, so I can get done and nap, so I can watch a game. It's not going to start till 9:30, right?
Yeah, I agree. Excuse me, I agree. Oh man, free agency's a blur, man. Oh man, I'm lost. I just want the Celtics to do something. Crazy how all of these teams negotiated all of these deals in 30 minutes. Insane speed. Wild.
That's
Wild
why they're the
Wizard.
pros.
That is why they are the pros at this. Yes.
Hey, Ben in the chat. Hello, Ben.
Hello,
How's
Ben.
your 2 weeks been? It's been a while.
How we doing?
Any news
we
on
doing?
trades? Nothing on the Celtics front, Ben. Nothing's happened yet. You've
No.
had potential targets go off the board. Who you said Hartenstein was one guy. Nick Batum has been signed. Will
Javon
Barton is
Carter.
not going anywhere. Javon Carter got signed.
Mo Bamba.
Mo Bamba. Oh, dude, it would have been fire. We could have played the song on the stream.
What was I just gonna say? We're probably gonna end relatively soon. We're not gonna stay all night, but as soon as we end, there's gonna be Celtics news. You just know it. You just know something's gonna happen right when we end the stream.
I could do another hour. I don't know about you.
I mean, I'm down to stick
I
around.
mean-
You know what was really funny? How
What's this?
right after the KD news came out, the Nets traded for Royce O'Neal. You know they made that deal, and then KD said something like, because it makes no sense for them to trade a first-round pick, right? They traded their 2023 first for Royce O'Neal. The one draft pick they
Really?
owned, they traded away. It makes no sense.
Dude, that is great. Why did they do that?
They probably were gonna say, okay, you know,
In my
Kyrie
head, the
opted in.
draft hadn't happened yet, and they were picking at 23.
No,
And I was like, oh, like that's whatever. And then like now I'm thinking about it, like that team could be the dumpster fire this year.
well, do you know what they did? They definitely made the deal or had like everything agreed to, blah, 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 wasn't announced yet because they're like, okay, Kyrie opted in. We're going to have one more shot at this. Let's put a quality team around them. Let's get some depth pieces. You know, we don't need this pick. We're going to go for it. And then KD came to them and they're like, all right, well, we already made this trade. Shit. And so they just traded.
Danny Ainge
I wonder,
is fleecing the Nets again.
right? I wonder if it is their first though. Let me see. Nets trade. What picks do Nets have?
And
I
then
wonder if
Google
it was
says
like
none in all bold letters.
I wonder if it was their first or a no, because the Sixers own their first. So they probably traded them either like wait, what is okay. They have the Rockets have the option to switch with the Nets next year. So they probably traded the Sixers first for Royce.
Okay.
The one they
well,
got in the Harden
that's a
deal.
little bit more reasonable.
If I had to guess, I don't know. Let me look up that. Royce O'Neal trade. If I had to guess though, they do that. For first round pick for a 2023 first round pick is all it says. It doesn't say Brooklyn is sending the lesser of their two firsts, either Houston or Philadelphia's 2023 first. So whichever one's worse, they will get. You know what I'm saying? Did I lose you or did you lose me? Hello, Sam. Anybody? Uh-oh. Excuse me. Oh no. Stream, am I still here? Did Sam freeze or did I freeze? Help me out. It's Gear, Ben, people in the chat. Who froze? Who's gone? Oh no. This is going up as a podcast too, though, so I'm going to keep talking while we wait it out here. Hopefully you guys can still hear me, but I don't hear anybody anymore, which is truly unfortunate. Sam froze. Okay, thank you, Henry. I appreciate that. I'm still here, but yeah, man, free agency's been great. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate all the support in the chat. Thank you for making sure that I'm all good. I can see Sam's coming back. Don't worry. Waiting. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Welcome back,
There you
sir.
Oh, here we go.
I was
Yep,
just
the
saying.
old- I mean, listen, the shitternet.
No, I
kicks in.
asked them.
It would not be a stream, and I'm probably frozen again. It would not.
There he goes again. Goodbye, Sam. Off into a
No, I'm
he
back.
goes.
It would not be a
welcome.
stream without me freezing. I only have one other tab open, which is the baffling part. What
That
is
is
going
crazy.
on? Why on earth am I freezing up?
Are you still frozen? Can you hear me again?
No, I can hear.
Oh, okay. The pick, Sam. I did find it. They are sending the lesser of Philadelphia's or Houston's pick. So whichever is worse, they will send to Utah, which it's gonna end up being Philadelphia's.
Yep.
Because the Rockets have the right to swap. So the question is, who will be worse next year, the Nets or the Rockets?
It'll probably be Houston still, but it's
You
up
sure?
in the air. They have interest. Well, we don't know yet. We don't know who.
Yeah,
what the game's gonna
exactly.
look like, but I mean, if you're Brooklyn, you're doing everything you can not to be the worst.
Well,
Um,
at this point, excuse me, I understand the idea of there's no point in tanking, but at the same time, I wouldn't like go out of the way to be competitive. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
oh, I
you
would.
you get as many assets as you can back. Like you still trade for picks over players, in my opinion. I
Yeah,
don't
you
think
have
you
to.
trade yeah, I don't think you trade KD for like 30-year-old veterans and a good deal. You know what I'm
No.
saying? You trade for young assets and picks. And if those young assets aren't going to have you be competitive right now, that's fine. Your goal is no longer to compete for the playoffs. Your goal is to, but it's also not to tank. Just get the best package back for your organization, right? Because I saw Keith Smith tweeted out, he's like, those are just lost assets at this point, right? They're just gone, right? You don't need to worry about them. Just focus on the team. So there is that. Oh man.
We have gone quiet. Oh my god. Quiet on the
We
timeline.
have Sam, sorry, not Sam. Tim sent us this. Greg Sylvander, who is a Miami Heat insider who I have seen before, said the Miami Heat have submitted an offer for Donovan Mitchell. So they've made an offer, which isn't surprising. You
Yeah,
have to
dude, you can
imagine.
offer them anything. You could be like, "Hey, like, you want some
That's true.
chips?" And they're like, "No," and then you submit an offer.
If I had to guess, though, that offer's not too bad, right? Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, multiple first round picks. It's not bad.
I'm getting real sick of guys coming to this conference. That's my new thing that annoys me. Go to the other conference. Stop coming to the Eastern Conference. No. That's enough of that. You're starting to get a little bit too I mean, it was crazy last year. There were a lot of teams that were solid and only 8 make the playoffs. Like Charlotte missed out
Yep.
on the playoffs. They're a pretty solid team. Cleveland missed out on the playoffs after having a good start to the season. They did have injuries. They had injuries. They had injuries.
Yeah, that's rough.
But at the same time, like, okay, Washington's going to definitely have to try and be competitive. They've signed Beal.
I have a new favorite tweet of the last whatever,
All
however
right.
many. Jeff McDivitt, who does social, I don't even know. I think he's just a Philadelphia guy. He tweeted, "If Brooklyn is truly blowing it up, I'd love to see the Sixers explore a buy low opportunity on Nets point forward Ben Simmons. Loved him coming out of LSU." Oh man, that Nets team. If I'm the Nets though, I keep Simmons because right, like this is gonna be the least pressure he's ever played with. You just run him, like just let him have the team. It's his team. If he grows into something more, I said this a million times. If you put Simmons in Giannis's shoes, I think he wins an MVP. So I think you put him in the best position to succeed. He'll still be good.
Andrew Doxey has quoted a tweet from somebody saying it is a blue check mark that the Wolves are offering Danilo Gallinari a 1-year, 10.5.
Oh, have him, take him.
Gallo has several contenders asking about it. I'd imagine the Celtics are one.
You can have him for 10 mil. Jeez, no, thank you.
It's going to be scary. Ben Simmons, I'm playing with Kyrie and KD. Freezing cold teams.
Yeah. I got my food. Do we want to see? Do we want to see
What
the
did you
meal
get?
tonight? I got a cheeseburger club. Here we go. I'll hold it up for you guys.
From
Okay.
where?
It's a local place called Bill's. Bill's
Okay.
Pizza. How's this looking? We approve.
Well, I'm hungry, so it looks fantastic. Even though if I'm going to get a cheeseburger, I'm taking years off my life. You know, I'm going to Five Guys. And see, those look inadequate. I'm going to Five
What?
Guys.
No, these are phenomenal.
No.
fries.
No. Well, I've never had them. But anytime I do not like the fat fries that could be cheese.
They're not that bad. They're seasoned really well too.
I'm big on my favorite kind of fries are like
McDonald's fries.
no,
That type, I mean.
McDonald's, not McDonald's fries. They are thinner and they are real crispy. Like they are at like all kinds of different. There's restaurants that have them all over. Ben says Wendy's back in the UK. Now
That's what I was gonna say. Wendy's has goated fries. They're so good.
I have not been to Wendy's. I didn't even know you guys had Wendy's over there, and I've been there. I don't remember seeing any Wendy's when I was there. I'm trying to think. Oh, you know what? I think I did see that Wendy's was like didn't correct me if I'm wrong, Ben. Wendy's left the UK and now they're coming back. Is that correct? PJ says Chick-fil-A fries.
Those are good.
Chick-fil-A fries are good. Out of all the fast food places, I probably like either Chick-fil-A or McDonald's the best for fries.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Five Guys fries are good. I
No,
know you
Five
probably
Guys
don't like
might
them.
be it for me, actually.
They're not crispy though. That's like the opposite of what you like.
He said yes.
I always dip my Five
But they
Guys
give you a
fries
ton of them.
I always dip it in the salt and vinegar they have.
My friend of mine does the Cajun.
Prime.
For those of you
They're
just
awesome.
joining, we aren't just food people. We're just there's no news. Nothing to tell you.
There's no news right now.
Jack's enjoying some food.
I'm gonna take a bite. So you talk.
I need to inquire about some food. And chat, what do you think of the KD for Jaylen Brown thing? We talked about this probably over an hour ago now. I don't care for it, Jack. I mean, obviously, if it does happen, I mean, what are you going to do? Cry? It's not the worst possible thing to happen, but I don't think it's the smartest thing you can do. I think having Jaylen Brown around is going to benefit you in the long run. I think it's going to keep your window open longer than it would if you had KD on the team, which could be very wrong. But I think it makes the most sense. And you just went to the finals. To me, there's no reason to bomb that team.
I also don't think it hurts you as much because it's not like you're giving up your whole future because you still have, one of the best young guys in the league.
It's true. It's true. I feel like if something does happen where a Durant trade is on the table, it's not just Jaylen Brown. You are losing multiple important pieces. What do you mean by this?
Where do you
Ben?
draw
How
the line?
ruthless will they? It would have to be like just him and nobody. And Justin kind of know. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think you're not in the position to where you need to be doing this. You're not on the fringe. You're not, struggling to get over a proverbial hump. You got over your hump last year, which is funny to say because they didn't win. They didn't win the title. They should have won it. I'll say it till the day I die. They should have won that series. They didn't win. But the hump that the Celtics for years have now struggled to get over was the Eastern Conference Finals. They got past there. That was the big issue they had. They lost to Miami in the bubble in a series they should have won. They lost to the Cavs in 2018 in a series they probably should have won. And then they got beat up pretty bad in 2017 by the Cavs. Now you've gotten past Miami. You're going to have to play Giannis again next year. That Bucks team is going to be healthy, I'd imagine. That's what you assume every season. It doesn't always happen that way. But you can do it. You've proved you can get there. Now it's all about winning. And to be quite frank, you could have won with the team you had. You didn't hold on in the crucial moments. Even parts of the game that weren't down the stretch per se, but they were still important parts they didn't show up in. And that's where they lost the series.
I do think a KD trade makes them better though.
Yeah, it probably does, but it depends. It depends if they have to gut multiple important parts of their team.
The package I wrote up for my article was JB, Grant Williams, Peyton Pritchard, and picks.
Yeah, like at that point, I guess it's fine. Ideally, you would have done that
Rob
before
the
today.
Contingency for you?
Yeah, I'm not giving up 2 starters. That's the bottom line. I'm not giving up 2 starters for KD. You have a starting 5 that ripped through the entire league before Rob tore his meniscus, and you're going to break him up? Rob's going to be healthy at the beginning of next season. Everybody's going to be
Knock on wood. Knock on wood immediately.
But you would have to imagine, as I said for Milwaukee, wait, not knock on wood for, that you are going to be healthy. You imagine every team is going to be healthy. That's just how it goes. And if you're healthy with that team, that starting 5 plays real well together. I'm not convinced they were completely healthy at the back end of the playoffs, whether you want to say Tatum or Rob.
Gosh.
What's this?
Sounds like Danilo Gallinari will be deciding between Chicago and Boston for his next team. The Bulls have.
Oh, Jesus.
Boston prefers to be his preferred landing spot.
Well, there you go. Jake Fisher, friend of the show. He talked to us one time.
Yeah, that was crazy. That's
For
now
fun.
that he's this big guy. Shout out, Jake. What a beast.
It was nice of him.
Mm-hmm. I still don't really want Gallo. He'd be fine, but it's like, eh.
Ben says, I'd take Simmons for Marcus Tyson Pritchard. I don't know. Simmons hasn't played in 2 years.
I'd still do that.
I'm just not into gutting this team. I'm not into it. I can't get behind that idea.
If you can get better, I'd trade pieces. Like I don't care like what you just did because other teams are going to be getting better.
I'm not doing
Just how it
Simmons for
works.
Marcus at this point. Call me crazy, call me a homer, whatever I mean, I am a homer and I love Marcus. It's my favorite player. I'm not doing it. Not doing it right now. He just had the best season of his career. Won defensive player of the year. Yeah, Sam, that's when you should trade him. I get that. I get that. His value's high. Dude, I'm not putting Simmons on this team. This is a guy that has been upset when people are mean to him. You're gonna go play in front of Dan Shaughnessy? You're gonna play in front of this media? Really? No, get out of here. No, I don't want Simmons. I don't think Simmons would play well.
I wouldn't hate it. Yeah, I think he'd do better in a smaller market or a place where people don't care, like Brooklyn.
Yeah, he should go. Yeah, Brooklyn, small market. He should go play in Sacramento.
I would like that.
I almost want them to have relegation in the NBA, 2 separate leagues, a high division, a low division, just so when players act like a bunch of babies, you can send them off to a low division team for like draft picks. Because I'd imagine the low division teams in this fantasy land I'm talking about would have high draft picks. So you could legitimately get stuff back for these guys, and you could punish them for being a bunch of pricks. Simmons broken mentally, can't even hit free throws.
Marvin Bagley, 3 years, $37 million with the Pistons. I love that contract.
Good for him. And that Pistons team, he played well for the Pistons. Pistons are going to make the playoffs this year. If you can bet on a sports book right now,
I agree
that the Pistons will make the playoffs, take the bet. They're going to make the playoffs. They were a pain in the ass.
Play in at the very least.
I think they're making the playoffs. They were a pain in the ass to play. Now the East is deep. They were a pain in the ass to play all the second half of last season. They just drafted Jaden Ivey, who's a good player. They've re-signed Bagley. There's a chance they end up with DeAndre Ayton. That has been thrown around. It's not sticking. We haven't seen any report yet. By the time you listen to this, if you're not watching live, it could not be
I don't think
relevant.
They will. I think they took in contracts for picks instead of signing and throwing a bag at him. What are you looking at?
Just KJ's messaging us. More per year for Bagley than Portis. That's interesting.
Well, depends on the situation too. Excuse me. Like the Pistons have money to throw, and he's a young player.
They do.
But Portis wants to compete, and he likes Milwaukee.
Yep. I would really like Bruce Brown to be announced. That'd be nice.
I agree.
I would just like something to talk about. I've gone through over half my water, and we have had no news. Relevant news.
Thank you for covering me while I'm eating, by the way.
I'm trying. Listen, I can talk about nothing. I just can't talk to you about basketball and know what I'm... No, I'm not going to discredit myself. I know what I'm talking about, just not as much as Jack does on most things.
Come on,
Keith. The big pause in signings tells us who was doing the wee bit o' the tampering before it was time.
That is very funny. Going to Gallo, though, I don't hate it because I think he has shown that he can be a very effective player. Obviously, like you look 2 years ago, he's averaging 20 points, right? Like he's a scorer, but he's very clearly lost a step, which is concerning.
Which is funny because he's always been like just like traditionally a shooter, or that's been the best part of his game. And usually, when you get older, your shooting doesn't go away. Those are the players that seem to last.
His shooting numbers are still fine, but he just can't do as much because he used to be pretty athletic. He used to be able to like be versatile and defend a little bit, but now he's lost that step. He can still shoot, but now he's more one-dimensional, which is, I mean, I don't know.
Let's see. Ben, Liverpool's new stand is looking good. Yeah, I see they're building on, I think it's the main stand they're building up, and they also tore up the pitch. So you're going to get new grass out there too next season. Peter, what Boston is taking, I think he's asking if they've done anything, and no, they've done nothing's happened yet. Doesn't mean they're doing nothing. They could be waiting on pieces to move or things to settle down, and then
maybe they're making a Durant
take
trade.
Their punches. But if you really want the latest that we've been talking about over the last couple of minutes is Danilo Gallinari has narrowed it to Chicago, Boston. From what
That's
we
the report.
understand, from what the streets say, that is the case. And Boston is the preferred destination, but they can't give him as much money. Now, if I'm the Celtics, I'm not giving. Well, I don't know. I personally would rather give that money to someone else.
If someone else is available is the key part.
Yeah, like who would you rather pay that money, Bruce Brown or Gallinari?
If Bruce Brown is available for that money.
Yeah, I don't know. This should be it's too bad Connaughton opted in. By the way, that killed a lot of fun for me.
I agree. He would have been great in Boston.
He would have been great. He's local. So is Bruce Brown. So is Duncan Robinson.
Yep.
Fair amount of New England guys in the league right now. I feel like you don't hear that much. Joe Mazzola,
Apparently,
coach from Rhode Island.
Apparently, Chicago is offering a 2-year, $15 million deal. And the
Patty Mills is going back to Brooklyn for 14.5 over 2 years. He got a raise.
Yeah.
That was another guy that was thrown around, so he will not be playing for the Celtics.
Boston reportedly offered Gallinari a $6.5 million 1-year deal. Eesh. Don't love it.
Peter says if they want a good player, they need to pay the price. Like, yeah, but also like, is Gallinari that good of a player? And if you're talking about Durant, do you buy into blowing up the team? Jack somewhat does. Listen, if it happens, it's not going to be the end of the world. I just don't think it's the smartest move. It's a risk, and I lean towards playing it safe with this team. But
isn't it crazy that KD is going to be a different uniform next year? That's kind of wild to think about. That's really
good.
crazy.
I can root for him again. Hopefully. I like KD, man. He's fun to watch. It's fun to watch.
He's very fun.
I get very, very surprised when he misses shots. I would have loved to see him play here back in the day, 6 years ago. I'll never forget that day. I was very excited. I thought that was the day he would sign, and he did not.
And then he went to the Warriors.
July 4th.
Brutal time. I don't know, man. We could probably wrap up soon. It's been an hour and a half. I don't know how much stuff is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how quickly this is going to trickle in.
We can wrap.
We'll release this as a podcast, though, as our live reaction and general thoughts and stuff. But yeah, any final thoughts before we head on out of here, Sam?
No, man, I'm real hungry. That's why I'm wrapping it up. If I wasn't hungry, I'd say no, we're staying on here, damn it. But I'm hungry.
I got you.
All
right, well,
what's going on?
Thank you guys for tuning in. It's Gear saying, check DM. What did you send me? Let's take a look. I don't have a DM. Yep. The Boston Celtics are trying to get Kevin Durant from NBA Central. It's the same John Gambadoro guy, the Arizona Sports. It's on NBA Central.
All right, let's have a look. I don't follow that account. Jay Sean Tate, 3 years, $22 million to Houston.
It's not a bad deal for him. NBA Central from Gambo Sports Radio talk show host in Arizona. It's interesting. I mean, I don't know how much I trust him, but they're probably going to make an offer. It'd be foolish of them not to make an offer. So, anyways, we can release this as a podcast, so I'll let you do the outro, Sam. You can hit it.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening or watching. If you came out to the stream, we do appreciate that. It was fun. Got to talk to some people we haven't talked to in a couple of weeks. I'm sure we can do another stream if something happens over the weekend or whatever. I'm not
sometime
really
soon.
doing anything. We'll be doing pods soon. I don't know. Now that we don't have to do them every day. But yeah, if you want to, if you're on YouTube, you're watching on Guy Boston, make sure you subscribe. And if you're on
just Marvin Bagley,
Bannertown, you can subscribe there as well. Make sure you leave a like, share the video. If you're on the streaming service listening to the podcast version of this, make sure you follow the stream. Jack has been excellent at tweeting out the pod now that it's on the From the Rafters Twitter. Rafters Pod. You can follow that. If you want Jack's articles, he did write about free agency targets. We looked at it a little bit earlier in the show. You can go to at Jack Simone NBA. He's posting all his stuff there. And if you want to follow me, I tweeted about Subway cookies 2 days ago. You follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's our show for today.